Welcome to this Carsen nimzo analysis. Happy morning, happy afternoon, happy evening. And if you are somewhere around the world, I only know German. So, guten Tag, guten Abend, guten Morgen, and guten Nacht if you're watching this before you sleep. Today we're going to be watching Carsen against Rajabov, and this was the time when Carsen was rated 28.72 and Rajabov was rated 27.93. So these players were fighting for each other. I think this is a candidate game. I did not really check, but all we know is that it's a nimzo Indian defense game, and we've been studying the nimzo Indian. And today, after I analyzed this game, I decided this is the game of the week, of the day. And yeah, if it's the first time here, subscribe. Let's get into it. The game obviously starts with d4. I cannot remove the annotation. It's a Carsen against Rajabov. The best of the best, I think this was like 2018, 2019. Both of them rated 2800. Rajabov at this time he dropped some rating, it was 27.93. And we'll look at this game where Carsen was black and Rajabov was white. And we're looking at the black side because we are learning the nimzo, and Carsen played the nimzo. Start off the game with d4. We have knight f6. We have c4. So that was the slowness. We have e6. And in a6, now we enter the nimzo, because in actuality, in the game of chess, they say the white pieces make the first move, but the black pieces determine what type of game it's gonna be. That's why there's a Petrov. Petrov comes from the black side. You know, the Italian also comes from the black side. If the black side doesn't want the Italian, they change it to something else. Okay, but the game continues. Obviously, after this, we have knight c3, and with the bishop. Now we enter the actual nimzo defense. In this position, there's a lot of moves for white. White can play here, white can play here, and white can also play here, which has been played by none other than Fabiano Caruana. I've also essayed this myself, trying to do it, but I've lost miserably because it has deep lines, and eventually this line will just show you flames if your opponent can capitalize with it. And also in this move, there's also g3. But Carsen chooses to go for queen c2, and Rajabov decides, you know what, let me just keep it steady and strong, and he goes for d6. After d6, the game continues normally. We have knight f3, 96, 97, sorry. It's kind of hard to get the annotations in your head sometimes. We have g3, castles. In fact, in this position, another than castles, you can black had also a move of just trying to copy, so that there's some neutrality in the game, you know, same type of structure, you know, IQP. Then here, same type of, you know, bishop. Okay, the game continues. There's castles, there's bishop g2, and Carsen strikes in the center. And in this position, we can confidently say we've entered somewhat of an early middle game, you know, because if he takes, there is some type of weirdness. There's a c pawn and there's an e pawn, but there's another e pawn there. So in a way, white has a slow advantage because he still has this middle pawn, which is then e pawn, and he also has a c pawn, which is already taking over the d square and the b square. So that's a lot. That's a huge advantage, you know, when you have the center. The game continues. Obviously, these big GM players, the super GMs as they call them, they like to keep the tension. No one wants to take first, so of course there's castles by Rajabov, and Carsen decides, you know what, let's go c6. c6 prepares, I think, a move that I would say maybe like b5 or even d5, leaving this pawn alone because you can always bring your rook and also bring your queen maybe, and also, you know, the knight you can also take there. And even this knight, after you take, you don't want to take immediately, you can move to the side, you cannot take later on because you have two knights attacking the same pawn. The game continues. The rook comes into the center, and the rook's job is to say, I would like to push someday I would like to push this and cause you to have this type of structure where I have my knight in there, but I also have my rook digging in there, and I also have my bishop in the future to defend that pawn that is on d4. Now the game continues, obviously. No, actually this is d5, sorry about that. The rook is played, then the tension now finally fades away. Takes, then there's the bishop. The bishop is attacked by a3. a3 is played, and that kind of like makes sense in a way, but in this position I thought a3 provokes bishop back, you know, bishop to f8, but Carsen instead say bishop takes c3. He takes with c3, queen takes c3, then queen here, and queen here is also confusing because there's also queen here, you know, because like the nuances in a position like this, since if you analyze it, let's say with the computer, you get the nuances of saying like, oh okay, what if in this position you play queen here, because you're trying to kind of stop this pawn from ever being engaged, and you might want your knight here to kind of threaten something there, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, maybe I think of those ideas, but that's a thought of like a 14, 1500, 1800 player, not a 27, 2800 player. But the game continues, obviously. We have b5, knight b6, and the bishop. And I think this is not fair to say. I don't think it's an inaccuracy per se. Again, that's why the computer is kind of not a good friend for a person, because the computer here kind of recommends that why not you go e4 first? Why don't you go e4 first? Then after e4, you commit your bishop here. Why not you do that? You know what I mean? Of course, some people are like, okay, e4, this. Yeah, I do understand that, but also there's rook here, and now you have how many pieces attacking one single piece? You know what I mean? If how many pieces attacking this pawn, this bishop can also come here. You get me? So you don't need to really worry about that pawn. That pawn really does not mean anything. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways that white can get back its pawn. And I thought, why not e4? You know, not even e4 itself. Why not just say bishop here? You know, the normal way, force your opponent to kind of do this, then take. Then you have that type of structure. It's not a bad structure. Per se, it's not a bad structure. But then you go for bishop e3, and it's kind of confusing. But also, it's not really a bad move, to be fair. Knight, and I think also Carsen notices this, and he's like, knight g4. It makes sense for me to attack this off-place knight. It's kind of off-place. It's not in the wrong place, but it's not at the right place at the right time, right there. It's just there. You get me? So Adabov puts his knight back. He doesn't take immediately. Carsen wants to build into that center. He also wants to blockade. You want this white bishop to be unavailable in the game. If it's unavailable in the game, I have an extra piece, and the advantage comes to the black side. And of course, we attack, then we take the black bishop. After takes, then we block the white bishop, and that makes more flipping sense, because now this is an inactive piece, and I have my knight. Now my knight just needs to regroup and get back into the game. You know what I mean? I need to find a way to put my knight in the game. I can even go here after takes, something like this, going after this pawn, or even this, going after the same pawn that I just lost. But okay, but those are just my own thoughts, which I think they're wrong as well. But okay, rook c1, and we have bishop played, and now we just is a maneuvering game. It's an accuracy as well, because in this position the engine wants you to play g4. Really, g4. Who really wants to open up their own king? You know, g4 like that. Like, what are you thinking there? Me, in my idea when I was analyzing this game, I was like, okay, maybe g4 makes sense, because after this, you know, there's this, but then you can also type of play for this, you know, where there's after something like this, your king can eventually go here, and there is some type of idea of just trying to bring the rooks, you know, this side to barricade. And obviously, you want to take like that, like what I just did, you know, maybe like after black takes here, you don't even play this move, you move your king out of the way. The king moves out of the way. You have this pawn. In fact, the pawn can be taken right away as well. Funny enough, the pawn can be taken right away because there's always gonna be a defense here. You get me? And there's a movement out of the way to just bring these other pieces in. In fact, this is a move, future move. Assuming, let's say I play this move, there is this future move here that comes in there, making a path for the white king. But okay, enough of the deliberating. That did not happen, unfortunately. The game continues normally. Every player just maneuvered, and in this position, it is a mistake. But is it really a mistake? Because here you're trying to create space. Not only are you saying after takes, you move away, this takes, and your knight is just in a great position controlling these two squares where you can also jump into. You're kind of like saying, okay, I want more opportunities, so I'm trying to create any new ones. And that's what Carsen does. Carsen is trying to create some problems in the position, and that's what a chess player must do. He must create some problems in a position. Let me connect my charger here. He must create some problems in a position. Okay? This takes, this takes. And now we're in a position where it's just maneuvering. There's really nothing going on now. Takes, we're in an end game, but we know who Rajabov knows who is against. And this time, Carsen was actually dangerous in the end games because no one could stop him in the end game, especially in a rook end game. It was very dangerous in the time. The game continues maneuvering, they maneuver, they play, and they play until the 80th move. Rajabov makes a fatal mistake, and in your mind you're like, what mistake does he make? The black king is far away from his pawns, and this king wants to go in there. And after the exchange, if you go up, obviously you can block though, and that's a draw. So how is he winning? Well, he's winning because there's knight d3 check, and here you can't actually take. That's the worst part, because there's this, and you're like, why is that bad? Because you can't even push it because you lose it. Because the point is that this bishop can go here, and if you're oblivious enough to say, you know what, let this, I'm going to attack this, you go here and I'm going to go here. You get me? Like, do you understand? Now I'm like, this can push now. That's the difference. You have to understand that when you go after this, this is going, this is faster than your other pawns. So that's where the mistake literally happens. And in this position, Rajabov does not take. Obviously, he realizes that I cannot stop the pawn, so I must not take. And Carsen is like, okay, let's attack your bishop. A bishop is a weakness, obviously, because you can't put it here anymore. You have to push it back. The bishop goes back. The bishop comes back. Now we are pinning this one. We want this to take here, so as we can move as well. You know? He makes a mistake again. And in this position, this bishop takes bishop. Bishop. He's down a piece. It's already lost. The king comes in. The rook comes in. And in this position, Carsen does it beautifully. He notices that after knight, I think knight here. I think there's like a knight here back. Which one is it? Is it knight here? Knight here. There's a knight maneuver where you attack this. Yeah. I just can't find it. I think this one is the fastest. Yeah. I think there's this. But you notice that after this, after bishop h3 and g4, it's a fortress. And Miller does not believe in fortresses, creates his own fortress, and he wins. And that's a very good game. If you analyze this game, if you would like to analyze this game by yourself, let me know down in the comments, then I can put down the game. And please do like. It's the first time I'm actually doing this type of games, so as you can see, that's why I'm kind of nervous, kind of babbling about, because of course analyzing games alone is different with analyzing for other people, because you're trying to not only give them not a bad analysis but also give them ideas of your own. But with that being said, actually, have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Danke.